Hey, my book lovelies! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mills, Read of Mills. I've got a little bit of a different one for you guys today. So I'm going to be using my sister's Tortoises, Jeremy and Titch, to help me pick my TBR. Now, a little bit of a preface that I have to say. They are waiting to go into hibernation. They are very tired. They have no interest in playing games. So if any of this works, it'll be a miracle. We are going to do round one first, which is Kill Creatures by Rory Power against Boys with Sharp Teeth by Jenny Howell. And let's see, I'm going to take it if they walk in just the direction of one we're going to have to count it, because I've had them on the floor all this morning and they're not playing. So let's see. There you have it. They somewhat pick Kill Creatures by Rory Power. So this is about a girl called Nan. She goes off with her 3 best friends on a boat trip and she's the one who comes back. So out of the 4, she's the one who returns. And a year later, when they're hosting like a vigil for the missing girls, because obviously the parents are still going to hope that these girls are missing, one of them, who is called Luce, rocks up back on shore and Nan thinks, oh, that's her body. No, she's alive. And that should be impossible because Nan remembers killing her. This is going to be so good. It's obviously a jump between past and present. It's a fairly short one. It's 290 pages. It was the first pick from them. We've had a little change of location. So I am at my grandma's house, which is why the bookcase is a little bit more Billy bookcase vibes than at my normal loft library. And I thought I'd talk through the books that I read. Thank you to the Tortoises picks. Titch and Jeremy, I feel like you did really well. The first one I read was Kill Creatures by Rory Power. This one is quite short. It's around 280 pages. The text is fairly large, so it won't take you long to read it. But wow, this one had me hooked. It reminded me a little bit of the reappearance of Rachel Price, not because of the story, but because the plot twists just keep happening. So you hit a plot twist, you think, oh, that's it, there's not gonna be another plot twist. And then you hit another one and another one and another one. So this girl thinks she has 3 best friends. And I'm gonna say thinks, because she might have a little bit of a different understanding to them, and they've invited her to go to this thing called the Devil's Eye. So they jump into this water, it's kind of like a canyon, and she kills them. She kills all 3 of them because they're not being very nice to her, they're not being very inclusive to her. She feels like she's only been invited because she can steal the keys from her mother's workplace to get them the boat to go to the Devil's Eye. And so she kills all 3 girls. This happens fairly early on in the book, and she's in a situation where she's killed all 3 girls. She's living her life, I guess, in a little bit of shadow of them because the whole town misses them, everybody misses them. And as she is, a year later, they're having a vigil for the 3 missing children who they still think are missing. One of them floats back to shore and she's alive, and she's called Lucy. And Lucy's got a few tricks up her sleeve. She might have known what happened to her, but she's not going to show her cards to Nan straight away. And that's where the story goes from there. It's twisty, it's turny, it has a lot of deception. It was really good. I like the ending as well because I really thought I had guessed it. I thought, right, this time I've guessed it. I guess where we're going. I don't know why I always think I'm going to guess thriller. I just do. And then I got to the bit and I was like, and that's why it made me think of the reappearance of Rachel Price. I'd also say it gives similar vibes to The Perfect Son by Frida McFadden, if you love that as well. That one was quite twisty and turny, but yeah, it keeps you on your toes. I actually really loved it because some of the chapters say now, so you're in the present day, and then some of the chapters will say, let me see if I can find one, then, so you're jumping forward and backwards. Actually, 2 books that I read this week have a now and then, and I actually really enjoyed both elements. So yeah, this was really good. I think it's a 4-star read. I want a few more pages, a little bit more character depth for it to maybe be 5 stars or a little bit more background information. Once you get to the end, you're going to see what I mean a little bit more background information. But loved it, couldn't put it down, and I read it in about 3 hours. Generally, could not put it down. Okay, let's try and get them to be a little bit more tortoisey moving. I know tortoise is meant to be slow. Normally these little creatures, they have my life. If I was to let them loose normally in the kitchen, they'd be running around everywhere. This hibernation is not doing them too good. So the options for this one is the second book by Lucy Jane Wood. This is called Uncharmed and it comes out in September. And then we also have Tessa Bailey, Picture Perfect. Let's see which one they pick. There you have it. They have somewhat picked Picture Perfect by Tessa Bailey. This is her brand new book. It does have a sprayed edge. I was very lucky to receive this from Avon Books. Fake boyfriend. I love a fake boyfriend trope. We'll just pretend, right? Wrong. It's never pretend. They always fall in love. And that makes Mills really happy. I'm actually really glad. I kind of want both of them to be picked, but I asked you guys on TikTok, tell me of the order. This is how we paired them, so I've got to listen to you guys. This book, hey bada, swing. This book knocked everything out of the park that Tessa Bailey has ever written. Picture Perfect was perfect. It was absolutely amazing. So you have Robbie, who is an ice hockey player, and then you have Skylar, who is she's a softball player, but she does know how to play baseball because she was brought up with her brother and his friends, so she's learned to play baseball. And her brother's kind of got himself in a little bit of an awkward situation where he's told ice hockey players, come battle us in baseball. Such an American thing, like, come battle us in baseball. And we'll see who's the last man standing. You think baseball's a wimpy sport, I'm going to show you it's not. So he turns up to Skylar's door. He's got his best friend in the car, who Skylar is obsessed with. She's always been in love with him. And she goes to pitch for them, because obviously she's always pitched for these boys. She's always played with the boys and they need a pitcher. She's a softball player, but she knows what she's doing. And when she turns up to the field, Robbie kind of makes a little bit of a deal. If I can make it to the first base, you've got to go on a date with me. And she's like, there's no way you're getting past one of my balls. Like, honestly, the way she throws them is intense. I felt the intensity. But he decides, I think he takes, I don't know enough baseball terminology, but I think he takes it to like the shoulder or the body. So therefore it drops in front of him and he is allowed to run. I had to look up to see if that was like allowed or not. It definitely is. So they go on a date, and when they're on the date, he realizes that she's not got a partner for their family page games. So every year, everyone in her family is a little bit competitive. Her mum, her stepdad, her stepbrother, and her compete in these family games. Her stepbrother brings his best friend, who she's in love with, and she normally brings her best friend, who someone else might be in love with, but I'm not going to say who. So she takes Robbie this year. Honestly, he's like a little golden retriever. As soon as Robbie fake dates her to try and get this best friend of her brother jealous, he knows he's head over heels for her. There is no woman he's thought about but her. It was so good. I actually cried a little bit reading this. It was so perfect. It literally was picture perfect. I'm so glad Robbie got a story. There's 3 books that come before this in the series. You could read this completely as a standalone. You just might not have a little bit of the backstory on some of the characters. It wouldn't be the end of the world, but this is by far my favourite. And it has little baseballs and hearts as a sprayed edge, which is like a nice little bonus. Couldn't put it down. Again, I think I read this in about 4 or 5 hours. Generally obsessed, and I absolutely love it. This one doesn't have dual point of view, so I think it's third person, and then you get to see inside the head at the same time. I don't know how best to describe that. It's kind of third and first person, but I loved it. And normally I'm not the biggest fan when there isn't a dual point of view and there's a romantic interest. I want to know everything they think, or I want it in first person at least. But wow, it was honestly a perfect spicy read. You all need it on your TBR. Good pick, Tortoises. The third pick is either When We Were Monsters by Jennifer Niven. This one came out this is coming out in autumn, and we have Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie, and this one came out in July. So let's see which one they pick. I kind of wanted both of these to win, which isn't possible because Titch isn't even putting in a vote, let's be honest. He is not moving. But the winner was Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie. I am really excited to read this Dark Academia. So this is about a school. Let me find the blurb. So it says, welcome to the Blackwood Academy, the legendary school located at the fringes of the afterlife, where students spend their eternities mastering Blackwood's arcane arts. Once a pupil enters the school arch gates, there is no way out except for the Decennial, a once-in-a-decade celebration that rewards nominees who pass its trials with a choice. Formally graduate and join Blackwood's magical elite, or venture into the unknown and cross over to the mysterious other side. So this is going to have deceit. Death unites them, desire burns within them, the fight for their souls starts now. And it did come out in hardback, I believe. So this one is a little bit of a chunkier one, but I think it's going to be so good. This is set in I guess you'd call it a school. It's an academy, Blackwood Academy. I was like, it's a school setting. And you die at the age of 17 or 18, you're likely to wake up in Blackwood Academy. And that's because they somehow own your soul. It starts to unravel a little bit as you read the story that you've maybe had a near-death experience where you've died previously. So some of them have died for 6 or 7 seconds and then come back to life through CPR or whatever's happened, they've been brought back to life. So this place kind of holds onto your soul. And every so often there is a decennial, that's, I'm a mathematician, I should know how to say decennial. There's a decennial. That would mean every 10 years there is a decennial, because I think it's 10. I should look that up, honestly, Mills. Stop waffling. And normally they just pick the best person, and that best person then gets to decide either they're going to teach at the academy or work at the academy, or they're going to be let out into the real world. But you don't know what happens when you're let out into the real world. And when I say the real world, it's where your souls go after dying. There are some evil things that try and take over your souls as well. This year, they've decided that there's too many good people that they think could compete. So they're doing like a little trials and competitions. I did really enjoy the concept behind the story. I just think the amount of points of view you got was too many. This was my hardest read of the week, and bearing in mind I had 3 other really good books, I think that's worse as well, because it stands out more, doesn't it? It stands out more when you haven't enjoyed it. I enjoyed the concept, I enjoyed the way it was written in terms of the author's writing style. I just didn't enjoy how many characters I had to read. I couldn't keep them all in my brain. And then the final pick is between The Gingerbread Bakery by Laurie Gilmore, which is the 5th installment, the final main book installment, because I think we've only got a novella left to go, and then The Cinnamon Spice Inn. Both good picks. Let's see if they move. Let's see if they even want to play. I will put some outtakes at the end of my YouTube video, because honestly I was giving them a pep talk at one point. I will probably include that because you will chuckle at me. And yay, the winner is The Gingerbread Bakery. I received this from One More Chapter before publication date, but it's after publication date now, I think. So we're going to read this. This is Annie's story. If you've read the 4 books before this, this is where Annie and Mac, like honestly, after reading book 1, I was so shocked we didn't get Annie's stories book 2. This is a forced proximity, enemies to lovers, grumpy sunshine, I would call it. And I have been so excited to dive into this. And it has like a now and then, which is a little bit different. So yeah, that one is so good. And then we have a book by Laurie Gilmore. And I'm going to say it, it's my favourite one yet. This is The Gingerbread Bakery. I'm not normally so enthralled by a second chance romance. I enjoy them, but normally you feel like you're missing out on some of the previous history, the previous story, the previous, I guess, devastation that could have happened for them to be breaking up and then having the second chance element. But with this one, you have a now where it's present day, and then you also have a then, so you're living both sides of the story at the same time. And I absolutely ate this book up. I couldn't put it down. I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. I also was waiting for Annie and Mac's story since the first book, as were most people based on the dedication. That says, for all the readers that demanded Annie and Mac's story from the beginning, here we go. It was perfection. I remember meeting Annie in the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and thinking, that girl's feisty, let me know more about her. And I've had to wait till book 5. I've had to go through a single dad trope to get here. You don't know the pain that puts me through reading single dad tropes sometimes. It was absolute perfection. So there is a wedding. He's the best man. She's a bridesmaid. They've got to get along, or somewhat pretend they're getting along. And they have known each other in the past. So years ago, they hung out after school together, as in like they'd finished school, they met up a few years later, they hung out. He didn't really know her from school. He was a cool kid. She was a little bit more nerdy. She cared about her GPA. She cared about her friends. She cared about getting to school on time. She wouldn't skip school. So they are really complete opposites in the way that they behave. And I just loved it. He took her V card. He broke her heart. He left. He went traveling. He was meant to come back. He might not have come back. Maybe he did. Who knows? You will find out. And then they're really in this forced proximity situation where sparks may fly again. It was honestly one of the perfect things about this book was just, it wasn't too spicy. There were some references to spice, but it was the angst between them. It was the anger. It was the way Annie would speak to him that had me hooked. She is a little firecracker. And just because he's this attractive football player or whatever he was, I think he did football. He kind of came across like a football player. She's not going to stand for that. She's not going to let him bully her into a relationship. If she wants a relationship, it's on her terms, when she forgives him and when she wants him. And this was just absolutely top tier writing from Laura Gilmore. If you haven't read this series yet, there are 4 books before it. I do think it is worth reading the 4 books before it. You've got Grumpy Sunshine, He Falls First, a Christmas one, which is definitely like grumpy one bed trope, and then you have a single dad nanny forced proximity. Then you will finally get to the second chance romance. I didn't know how much I needed it. Well, I knew how much I needed Annie's story, but I didn't know how good it was going to be until I read it. So Tortoises, really good pick. So that brings me to the end of my video. I think the Tortoises did pretty well considering they had no clue what they were doing. They're tired, they're ready for hibernation, and they were looking at me like, Mills, I really don't want to do this. Make sure you subscribe and turn that notification on. If you enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments which book you enjoyed as well, what you enjoyed about the video, or what you want to see from me in the future. Have a lovely Saturday, book lovelies. Bye. Please, wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey, wakey, wakey. Pick a book, please. I know. I know it's hibernation time soon, but I really need you to play a game. Thank you.